9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Project Egg Show. I'm your host, Ben Gothard, and today we are going to be speaking to Philippe Dallaire, the president and co-founder of Igloo. Now, today we're broadcasting from Canada. As I said, previously on the last episode, we're going to be traveling around Canada for this week, which is very exciting. Today, specifically, we're broadcasting from Kamloops, which is in BC, the western side of the country. So a little geographical tidbit for you there today. But anyways, today we are speaking to Phil. Phil, how are you today?
I'm great. What about you?
Oh, fantastic. And thank you so much for carving out the time to be on the show today. It is truly an honor to be speaking with you.
Thank you for having me on the show.
All right, man. So let's jump right in. I really want to know, what is your story?
So when I was young, I've been passionate about sports all my life. So I've been doing soccer, football, skiing, tennis. And when I was younger, I was really competitive. So especially in tennis, when I started playing, I was like, okay, this is fun. So I started doing competition, training. And at a certain point, I wanted to become a professional tennis athlete. So that was really my mind. What I was focused on. And when I turned around 12 years old, I started skiing because my parents would always bring my brother and my sister and I to ski every weekend. And I just fell in love with the sport. So I just decided to stop tennis and put all my energy on skiing. And it was like freestyle skiing. So, like with the jumps, the rails and everything. And at this point, I wanted to become a professional athlete skier. So I just put all my energy to it. I started traveling by myself when I was 15 years old, going to Oregon for a skiing camp, and actually finished my high school in Oregon at the same academy, which is called Wendell's Academy. And when I got there, I realized that I didn't have the skill set to really become the professional I wanted. But I was with some of the best skiers around the world. One of them won the gold medal in X Games 3 times. And being with those guys was really impressive. We got to travel around the U.S., even in Europe for competition. But during that year, I realized that skiing was not going to be my career. But having spent a year with those guys that had a lot of discipline, I was like, okay, this is what it takes to be successful. So I just oriented myself and went back to Canada in Trois-Rivières, which is where I'm from. It's a small city between Quebec City and Montreal. And I just started studying entrepreneurship and management. And after my first year at university, I had my first entrepreneurship experience where I got my first franchise. I was a franchisee with College Pro, and it's a painting company for students. So you have your own franchise. You need to build your marketing team, also need to be in your painting team. And of course, you need to go and sign the contract so your employees have jobs to do. And this was a great experience on my hand for personal experience, but money-wise, it was complete disaster. I didn't make any money in my first year. And at the same time, my brother was also doing the same thing in Quebec City. And my brother is 2 years younger than me. And we came back together, and he also had the same disaster experience money-wise. But we were like, yeah, entrepreneurship is really for us, but we didn't know in what industry we wanted to launch our company. But at this point, we were like, okay, this is it. We're going to start our own company. So we were like, we're not just going to do it for money, because we just had this experience, and doing it for money just doesn't work for us because we're not able to push really to the next level. So we just said, all right, we're going to find something that really solves a problem. So every time we faced a problem or a need in a day, we wrote a solution on our board of idea. So every time we faced in a day, we had this board and always writing on it. And we had about over 30 ideas. And one day our father came back from a trip and told my brother and I, guys, I was on the plane. I looked around me, everyone had the same problem, which was to find a comfortable position to sleep in. And I also had the worst flight of my life. Why don't you guys try to fix that? So we're like, yeah, sure, it's true. It's a big problem. So we started just for fun with wooden sticks, towels, strings, and this is how we did the first prototype. Then we went to see our grandmother, with whom we did the first functional prototype. And after that, we met with a professional designer with whom we worked for over a year and a half to create a product that was nice, but also worked. And we did this all at the same time that we were at university.
What happened after that?
Well, after that, I did actually my last year of university in London in U.K, just on the outskirts, so about 20 minutes from King's Cross, which is like where Harry Potter got filmed a little bit, if you know, like when he gets in the train station. So
9 3/4.
Yeah, exactly. So I was 20 minutes away from that station, and we were still like building up. So we didn't have any products in place. Actually, we were looking to find the right supplier. So when I was in London, I went 2 weeks in China by myself, and I didn't know any words of Chinese at that time. And because what happened is we looked on Alibaba to find a supplier, but if you write travel pillow supplier, there's like 30,000. So we really had to bring it down like to 100, then ask some samples and how we communicate with them, how fast they would answer. So we brought that to 6, and I went really from Beijing to Hong Kong. And out of the 6, 1 didn't exist. So a good thing we got there. And the others were doing like mattresses and other stuff. So the company we chose was really like expert in travel pillows. So after this, we just like got serious because now we had someone to work with, and we had some real samples. So what we did is in the summer after that, we just prepared our Kickstarter, because we really thought this would be the best way to launch a product, because it was innovative and it was different. So we really thought Kickstarter would be the best way to go. So we prepared a campaign for many months, and then we launched on the 7th of November 2017, and it was a total flop. Like nothing happened. So we just clicked on the button, and so the campaign was live and just nothing happened. So like we prepared everything except the most important, which was the launch day. So after that, we just put a lot of money in marketing, and it just didn't end up, we didn't even reach our goal, which was only 25,000. But we just learned a lot from this, because we lost a lot of money in marketing. But after that, we were like, okay, like this didn't work, but we're not going to stop, because we had a lot of visibility locally. CBC, which you probably know, did a small like report on us in Trois-Rivières, because we started from our basement. So they came in our basement to film us and interview us. And this was during the Kickstarter. But when the Kickstarter ended on the 21st of December, then we had all this visibility. So during the Christmas time, we were able to really get our first sales. And like we officially launched like the real sales in January of 2018. And after that, it's just been growing. We've been doing travel shows. And yeah, last year, what happened is that we went, Dragon's Den, well, Shark Tank, like the French version in Quebec. And we were like, maybe we can go there and just like, give our a shot. And we went there, we got accepted to go on stage, and we only had 3 months in business at this point. So it was a big risk for us. But actually, it was the best risk we ever took, because it aired in June. And from that day it aired to the next day, we just had a complete different business.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened in those couple of days?
So what happened is that like before this day, we just had like some sales from our website, people coming to our office. But when this aired, like everyone from Quebec was calling us, and our website shut down for 2 hours, even though we were prepared. And we sold out in 1 week after that. And the next order only arrived in August. So for the whole month of July, we only had pre-orders. And it was just a great problem for us, because like before that, we had like maybe 1 or 2 sales per day. And like in the following week, we just had over $2,000 in sale, which was just crazy for us. So, and after that, we just kept this momentum going. And now we're in different retail stores around the province, and on our e-commerce, well, all around Canada, and also on Amazon.com. And right now, we're really looking to expand in the English market, where English Canada and English U.S.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
So once you went on Dragon's Den,
Mm-hmm.
that gave you this huge spike
Yeah,
of momentum.
this, yeah, yeah, like we knew it would like help us get a lot of visibility, a lot of traction, but we never expected that it would be this big.
How did you make sure to capitalize on that momentum? Because, it's one thing to just get that spike,
Yeah.
but it's really easy to fall back down
Mhm.
afterwards. So how did you make sure to keep going with that momentum and compound that?
Facebook ads and Google ads were best friends with that. So just targeting people that watch the show. So like really keywords, and also after that, retargeting them after they went on our website. And that's really the strategy we took, and it was good for us. But the fact that we had like an issue with the quantity and now it was pre-orders, we kind of missed some sales there because the momentum was there and we didn't have enough products in our inventory. But at this point, it was just a great problem for us, and we were just really happy that it happened.
So you're a young entrepreneur, been on Dragon's Den, you've had some success now, you're in retail stores, you've got the e-commerce game running and growing, and you're moving from Canada and expanding into the US. What's that like for you? I mean, it's one thing to tell the story, and I'm
Hmm.
so fascinated by that story. It's another thing to really understand like what it feels like to be in your position, what it's actually like to be you.
Well, I would say it's crazy. Like I feel like I'm living a dream. Really, I wake up every day and I do what I love. And really, to start from 3.5 years ago and really see all this progress, because everything is just like piling up one step after a step, but everything is so slow. But you look back 3.5 years ago and you're like, oh my God, like I've done so much. And just this morning, I thought about this. I was like, man, I've worked so much with this, but I still, for me and my brother, we're still at the beginning. But we just look back and we're like, wow, we did so much, and we're just excited for the future. But really, to be able to live this, I feel like it's a dream, and I just want to continue to push and go as far as we can with this because we have a big vision with it.
Let's talk about that vision a little bit. What do you
Hmm.
see in the future? Where are you going?
Well, so we want to be the leader in our industry. So we want people to call a trademark. So as the pillow, for example, how you call Kleenex, or all those brands that you call by the name. So that's really our vision. But on top of that, like our competitors really focus only on travel. And for us, travel is a part of it, but we have this vision of exploring more. So travel is good. We're going to expand in this market, and this is really our main market. But we also want to focus on athletes because we know athletes travel a lot, and for the competition, they can go all around the world. So one way we want to differentiate ourselves is really to have those influencer and also partner with professional athletes where we can enhance the comfort of the players so they can come to their competition or games and be fully rested. And another aspect is health side. So we have some clients that use it because they have muscles problem. So we're working right now with Health Canada to get our probation on the medical side. So that's also another aspect of our business to really develop, the healthcare side, and grow from there. So we have 3 different markets, and we know that these markets will just keep bigger and bigger because we're always going to be innovating and always improve our product, always improve our strategy. So this is just the start, but our vision is wide, is wide.
That's amazing. So one of the things that I really liked about what you said was that you just kept going, right? Even after that first Kickstarter
Hmm.
where you spent all that money on the marketing and it really didn't work, you just kept going, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that takes not only does it take a lot of vision to see like, okay, this was just a speed bump on the road, but it also takes a lot of guts to be like, hey, I just spent all this money, kind of kind of got burned,
Hmm.
but you just kept going, right? So how were you how were you able to stay focused even in that low moment? How are you able to stay focused on, okay, this is where I want to go. We're just not going to give up.
Yeah, well, I think the vision, you said it, the vision is the most important. So whatever like obstacle you face, if your vision is clear, if you believe in what you do, you're gonna go over it, and no matter what. So I think this is really what got us through it. But also, you know, as young entrepreneurs, you just like you're you just believe in yourself, but you're kind of crazy at the same time because you don't know if it's gonna work. So you just have to believe in yourself. And even if you don't get a Kickstarter funded, for example, well, you know that's something more after that. And I think that's really like what makes it or break it. Like if you just think that a Kickstarter, well, if it works, okay, I'll continue, and it doesn't work, then you stop, then you've probably missed a big opportunity. But if you really believe in what you do and you say, okay, I didn't get funded, but I know that what I'm seeing, I want people to see it as I see it, then you're just going to continue and push until this vision is clear for everyone.
Well, as a fellow young entrepreneur, I definitely feel like I'm crazy a lot of the time. And I feel like it's half the fun, right? Of being like,
Mm-hmm.
how big could we really take this? Like,
Yeah.
where could it actually go?
Mm-hmm.
I love thinking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I 100% agree with you. Like just to dream big, dream crazy, and I feel like that's what's exciting. You know, that's because to have no limit, basically, just because you're your own, you're your worst enemy with the limits you put yourself. But if you don't put any limits, then the world is yours.
Now, I'm fascinated by growth, right? Like personal growth, development, learning, and I'm interested to understand what your thoughts are on that. Like, do you have some sort of a regiment for, reading or studying or growing or whatever? For example, I try every single day to read, to read a new book or whatever. Right now I'm studying this one again,
Oh
reading it,
yeah, that's a good one.
reading How to Win Friends and Influence People for the fourth time.
Okay.
Oh man, I can't get enough of that book. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what's your philosophy there? What do you do?
Yeah, well, I think routine is really important. For me, that's like discipline is what really helped me be successful, literally. So in the past year, I really like kind of perfected my routine. And what I do, I meditate. First thing I do in the morning, I wake up at 6 o'clock. I meditate for 20 minutes. And actually, yesterday was the day that I've been meditating for 2 years, every single day. Yesterday was the day. So I've been meditating for more than 2 years now, every single day. And after that, I go to the gym, and I'm going to be at the gym from 7 to 8. And this really helps me like get ready for my day. And after that, I'm going to come back to my house, cook some eggs, and then I'll start my day. And while I'm training, the first part of my training is either I'm running or I'm doing bicycle for 20 minutes. And since the day I leave my house, at the time I leave my house until I get off the bike, I'm listening to a book. So Audible for me is really, really helpful. So I meditate, I listen to a book while I train the first part. And after that, well, I need more energy, I put some music on. And after that, when I come back, I'm going to put my book back on when I cook some food. And after that, I'll start my day.
I love that. I love that. And I love the regiment of like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, doing this for this amount of time, this for this amount of time. And it seems like it's very structured. What sort of books do you gravitate towards? Like, where do
Well,
you find yourself?
personal growth, for example, How to Win Friends and Influence People is for me like a great book because you really understand the psychology of like approaching people and how to really get them on your side. So those books for me, like personal growth, is great. And also another one I read 2 weeks ago was the 10x Rule of Grant Cardone, which you interviewed. And I think that was also a great book because like it's really a different mentality of just like personal growth in psychology. Well, it's also a bit of psychology, but it's really like more grounding yourself and just again seeing bigger and just pushing your vision even bigger and just making it 10 times bigger. So for me, any book like that can really help me grow as a person, also can help me grow my knowledge in business or also on a personal side. Like, for example, I can read books about meditation, also books about like friends and influence people, or, the laws of human nature, for example. So those kind of books, like just to grow my knowledge. Really, I'm not gonna read any story. I'm not this kind of guy, but really any book that can nourish my mind, I'm open to them.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit um, about your earlier, your childhood. Why were you so attracted to tennis and then skiing?
Yeah, I think I just had fun doing it, like doing fun, and I've always been like a really competitor guy in whatever I do. So like playing tennis, it started just like with my parents and my brother, just having fun. And after that, I was like, okay, I want to have a coach, get better. And then when I started practicing, I was like, okay, I want to play this guy. And then it was just fun to play and have a challenge. And of course, win was the best out of it. And I just loved it. And after that, skiing, I think it was really the freestyle and the lifestyle related to it. Because tennis, like you really focus and like, I don't know, you don't have like this mentality of just like relaxing and having the good time with your friends. And because I was still pretty young at that time, and growing up as a teenager, for me skiing was the better choice because you had more freedom. You could go out with your friends, have fun, go skiing in the next morning, and on the slope you're just like free and you just have a good time. And I just switched from there because for me it was just a better option for the age I was. And after that I started doing some competition, and I also liked it. But really what I loved about skiing was just going down the hill, doing some tricks, and just chilling with my friend. And so yeah, that was it. And at that time, like I wanted to become like a skier, but like for filming, so doing like some film, also the competition side, which is where you make your money. But yeah, I just didn't have the skill set for that. But to be able to live this experience was mind blowing. Like it's one of the best memory. It's the best year I had studying with the one in London by far.
That's amazing. I've been skiing for probably about 10 years now, and I'm very, very lucky to be able to go,
Hmm.
as much as I do. But I go to about once a year for about a week, and it's so freeing.
Hmm.
It's so beautiful out there because, where I'm from, it's super flat. There are no hills, no mountains, no snow. And so, like, to be able to go into that complete opposite terrain of like
Hmm.
these gorgeous woods and the mountains. Oh, dude, it's unbelievable. It's so beautiful. Can't get enough of it.
Oh
So,
yeah, connect with
what,
nature is awesome.
yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. And it's almost a form of meditation in and of itself.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
So, I'm interested because I know the type of skier that I am, but what kind of skier are you?
I was the freestyle. Like I was all about style. Really, style for me was the most important. So like whatever the trick you did or how you went down the hill, for me style was the most important. Like you just had to differentiate yourself with the style you had. And yeah, just because the idol I had at that time was just like amazing with style. And at this time, like in the skiing history, let's say, style was everything. So for me, I had like this gangster style feeling, I was skiing, I was really feeling cool. And that's really the image like I wanted to show people that like what I'm doing is easy, but it looks easy. It might not be easy, but it looks easy, and making it just as smooth as possible and giving my little touch to it.
Why was the like the gangster style so appealing?
Oh, because in my teen years, like I think I thought that was cool, and that really like that was my way of living. Just like the skiing, I had some really long hair, and I was all about the skiing life. So for me, skiing was everything at that time. So everywhere I was going, I was like dressed as a skier. Well, they're not on the slope, and this was just my life. I was a skier at that time, like even out of the slope.
I love that. And I actually think we kind of touched on something really important here, of being a skier on and off the slope,
Hmm.
because that to me is a sign of total immersion, which is, in my opinion, what it takes to be massively successful in something. Like if you're not totally in it 100%, then how do you expect to be the best?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you find that it's the same with your business and with entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I think it's the same really. If you're not dedicated to it, then you just do like half of the work you could do and you think you're going to get there, well, unfortunately you won't. But if you really have the lifestyle, so it's not just when you're working, it's really how you're like really your lifestyle, because what you do outside of work will reflect on what you do at work. So if you're really able to have this really this mind, this peace of mind, but also have your mind at the right place and really be focused in and out of the slopes, this is where you're going to be really successful instead of just being half successful.
I love that. I love that. So when you're working, right, or when you're going about your, your days, your weeks, your months, what do you think about balance? And I want to give you a little bit of context on why I'm asking this question.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've spoken to some really incredible people on this show, billionaires, New York Times bestselling authors, Forbes 30 under 30 recipients, just incredible people. And one of the things that I've been hearing a lot lately is the importance of balance. And it's not just from it's from a wide variety of people. Like there was a gentleman on here who built a company worth $100 million in 7 years. And he was, one of the people talking the most about balance. What does that look like in your life today?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think balance is really important. So this is why I really created a discipline from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. So like balance, before I go to bed, I'll have some time where I study my Chinese and I'm going to read. And this after that, I'll go to bed. So really my balance is really to find time for myself. So the time I wake up, I meditate, I go training. And after that, during the day, well, I might take like 30 minutes off, like here and there, like when my brain is tired. But I'm going to work all day. Like after dinner, I'm still working. There's no doubt about it. But there's going to be an hour at the end of the day where I take my time and study what I have to study and read and then go to bed. And during the weekend, I'm still going to do a bit of work, but I try to really relax and, take some time, just whether reading or watching some Netflix, for example. This is also good to relax. So it's really finding the balance between like how much energy can you put in this one activity, but how much are you going to get out of it? So it's not only about working the full day to your maximum and just like the next day and the next day not being to be able to do the same. It's really about putting the energy at the right time at the right place. And for me, this is all about balance.
I love that. I love how you talked about studying too,
Mhm.
because there's definitely like there's definitely a very intentional um like you have to put forth a lot of energy and be really intentional about studying, at least I found. How do you study? Like how do you learn? How do you do that?
Well, I'm going to study, well, for example, when I study my Chinese, it's going to be with an app and also my girlfriend, because my girlfriend is Chinese, so I can practice with her. But if it's not a language, for example, if it's a new skill, for example, I don't know, you want to write a new pitch. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to like search, for example, how to make the best pitch. Then I'm going to write down what I think is important. Then I'm going to read another article and another one. And then I'm going to come up with the important points. And then what I'm going to do is just start from scratch and really try to fit everything inside. And after that, I'm just going to review. So when I try to learn a new skill, when I study, I try to find what the best knowledge that I can find on internet, and after that put it to work. So really being clear on what I need to do and what I need to learn, and after that putting the work to be able to get there.
That's awesome. That's a really interesting way to study it. It almost seems like you go out and you're like hunting for data and you
Mm-hmm.
just find information and then you synthesize from various sources and you kind of pick the best of that data and then you come back and you polish it up and review and really hone it until it's exactly what you want, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's cool. So in your life right now, w- what is your relationship like with the people, like your friends, your family? You're building this company, you're building this business, you have this regiment. What's your relationship like with the people that are your friends and family?
I mean, I still have good relationship with my friends. Like my friends that I have right now are my friends since high school, but unfortunately, I don't see them often. Like even if we just live an hour away, now I live in Montreal, and most of them are based in Trois-Rivières. Even if we just live an hour away, I see them maybe every 2 months, every 3 months, because I'm really, really dedicated to what I do. But when I go back home to my hometown, like it's just like we didn't leave each other for one day, you know. It's just like it was in the whole time. So I'm really, really lucky to have those friends around me, and they also know what I'm going through, and they really support me. So even if I don't see them often, I know that they're always going to be there for me. So that's, I'm really lucky for that. And with my family, well, I see my family basically the same time as I see my friend, because my parents still live there. And yeah, my girlfriend lives in China, so I go to China about every 6 weeks, and also do business there. So I talk with her on the phone basically every day. But it's really be able to also make a balance out of it, you know. So yes, finding like the right time to speak to everyone, and also the right time to see everyone in person. So I try to go there when I can, and we make sure that it's a good time together. So we're gonna have a barbecue, for example, or just have a good time together. But of course, I miss them sometime. But at the same time, I know that in the long run, like it's gonna be worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you go to China, what's it like? Like, you're a young entrepreneur, you're learning Chinese, you have somebody there, a loved one there. But what's it like to do business there, to be going there so frequently?
I personally, I love it because I really feel like the future of business is there. So this is why I'm learning Chinese. But it's just everything is massive. Like you just go around and it's jungles of building everywhere, and you have so many people. But people are so nice there. Like most of them don't speak English, so it's hard sometimes to get around. But people are really nice. The food is great. But business wise, just treat you like you're a king, really. So when I go meet their suppliers sometimes, the last time I went, so the owner was there and he just carried us around in his Maserati. He paid for the hotel, he brought us for dinner for 3 days, just like the best dinner you could have. And but negotiation side, they're a little harder, so they're not going to break easily, and you really have to have strong argument points, because this is just how they do business. Like this is their price, and to be able to get it down, you have to have the right arguments. So the more information you get, the easier it is. But I feel like negotiating in China is harder than North America.
That's fascinating. And I feel like that's something that you would never know unless you went there and you were doing business with them
Hmm.
there, with the people who live there. That's fascinating to me. So along this journey, right? You've been doing this for years now. You're building this business. You've had so many different experiences. What are some of the things, like the biggest takeaways that you've learned? Like, how have you grown over this time?
I would say just like keep learning, because you're never gonna have enough knowledge. So I feel like always wanting to learn the next thing, always wanted to know more, always wanted to grow, always want to be the best person I can be for myself and really exploit my full potential. I think this is really what keeps me going and keeps, yeah, this is the best I've learned, because I'm always learning. So to be able to know that what I learned brought me there, well, I'm just excited to know what I can learn now to get there.
That's awesome. Well, Phil, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really do appreciate your time, man. It's been fascinating, getting to hear about your experiences and your journey and your business. So, I just want to say thank you.
Thank you for having me on the show. Really, I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. And to everybody who is watching, listening, I want to thank y'all very much because your time is very valuable. And I'm very appreciative that you choose to share it with us today. So thank y'all very much. I love you. You know I do. And I'll see you on the next episode.